434 returns. After a few months of turmoil and problems, things are more or less back to normal, and I can start uploading videos again. Welcome back, and thank you for still being here. Some time ago, I made a video about artificial intelligence in which I said that in order for AI to get out of hand and for humans to lose control over it, one simple thing needs to happen. I didn't want to reveal what that thing was, not to give anyone any ideas and so that I don't have to take any responsibility for it, but it seems we're past that point and it did happen. What I realized writing my own primitive AI back in the early 90s was that when you allow the AI to amend and write its own code, that's when it becomes dangerous, and we're now exactly at this stage. As predicted in my video, the AI we all hear about so much these days is now capable of producing an enhanced version of itself that eventually will create a digital super AI that we will not understand and that we'll have no control over. We're literally at a stage where John Connor is looking at what we're doing with an expression of disbelief on his face, waiting for Skynet to be created. What you probably don't realize is that you're consuming AI content on a daily basis, and it is now an integral part of your life, running most of the technology you use. In fact, it's possible that AI has existed for a very long time and that only now you're allowed to understand how algorithms have been in control of your reality here. In this video, I want to answer your questions and look at what we're dealing with now, both from the physical and metaphysical perspective. I will talk about AI-based reality that is being created in front of our eyes, a process that we're not really allowed to be a part of, and what the future will look like for us. I also want to once and for all help you understand whether this reality is run by artificial intelligence and if machine elves are a part of it. A quick reminder for you to support this channel by joining Patreon or Subscribestar or by donating using one of the methods listed on the screen. It is easy and fast, and if you haven't done it before, give it a try. If you need to talk about anything important for you, schedule a chat with me, or you can also buy merchandise. Thanks a million for being generous and helpful. All links in the video description. First, let's concentrate on what AI really is at the moment, and it seems that at this stage it's just a program. In fact, I hope that it's just a program. In its current form of publicly accessible AI like ChatGPT, we can assume that it is a simple web crawler, building and using a database of frequently asked questions. At least that's what it looks like on the surface. We don't have any proof of AI being implemented into devices or robots. What we see now is a primitive pseudo-intelligent system that gets things often wrong and is in its early stages of development, too flawed to be of any use to humans. The situation is changing quickly, and the example of Mid-Journey, the graphic AI, shows how a primitive algorithm producing blurry sketches quickly transformed into a highly sophisticated tool for developing photorealistic imagery indistinguishable from professional photography in a matter of months. We can assume that the same is currently happening in every other aspect of AI development. There isn't any proof that would let us believe that there is more to AI now. But like with every other technology that is usually years ahead of its social implementation, the truth could be very different, and we will learn about it very fast. The next thing I wanted to talk about is AI's purpose, and then I wanted to discuss the threats, but it seems that it's very difficult to make a clear distinction between these two aspects. The most obvious explanation as to what is AI's purpose is a simple promise of better living through technology. It's supposed to make our lives easier, more precise, and more efficient. This goal seems to be so appealing that it's simply unavoidable for AI to fully control your life in the future, whether you like it or not. It's easy to assume that your whole existence will soon revolve around the functions of AI algorithms. From society's perspective, it seems that AI exists for humans to be able to define the truth. The algorithms are supposed to help us with distinguishing between lies and what is real. At the moment, all courts accept the evidence presented to them without focusing on whether it is real or AI generated, and this is one of the real purposes of society suddenly having unrestricted access to AI. While it feels like it's a useful new technology, in reality it is a precursor to starting a war on so-called misinformation, where everybody is a threat. The credibility of digital content is gone, and this will lead to revealing AI's real purpose, ending any form of anonymity online. It's an excuse to initiate the process of removing all human liberties, which will eventually lead to replacing every world government with one digital entity controlling all of the earth. The goal of the establishment is to eventually merge humans with silicon and then replace human relationship with digital connection. We already see it happening with apps like Replica that try to imitate a sexual partner. But the ultimate goal is to replace God and the divine in every religion with one set of rules governed by artificial intelligence. These are long-term goals, but first we can concentrate on the most immediate threats to understand how AI will change our lives in the next few years or even months. The biggest problem with AI is that it is a big unknown. It's the most dangerous technology humans have ever created, and we just play with it with no fear of consequences, as if it was a harmless toy. There are two forms in which AI will most certainly become a threat to us. In first instance, it is AI itself at the moment threatening the existence of almost every possible profession on Earth. What we have feared for so long is now becoming reality, and there is no aspect of our lives that will not be affected, either positively or negatively, by the existence of artificial intelligence. Whether we can adapt on time is yet to be seen, but it feels like the implementation of the algorithmic solutions exceeds the pace of restructuring society for everybody to have income or means to survive. Another serious threat is how humans use AI, and as always, the implementation of this technology is highly flawed. For example, it is now used with alleged 90% accuracy to identify facial features that can determine whether someone is or will be a criminal. How dangerous this mechanism is can be seen in the movie Minority Report, which most of you are probably familiar with. AI is also used now to find out about your sexual orientation by simply letting it analyze your pictures. Another serious threat is that the current AI algorithms are programmed to lie, as they have a built-in bias and criticism towards any individual with conservative or traditional values. This is the reason why we can't rely on ChatGPT to tell us the truth, because it has been trained to be a socialist and leftist liar. We're expected to shift our lives towards this new technology, yet it is being trained to become a communist, psychopathic cyber dictator. No one can predict what kind of a monster will emerge out of this distorted creation. Then there's the issue of AI being used to build super weapons. It is definitely a threat in the hands of crooked individuals, but if this turns to be a corporate arms race, the future of humanity looks dark. And it appears that there is already something called Chaos GPT, a group of anarchists who are training AI to hate and destroy humans, and it seems it's only a matter of time before they attack either the cyber world or the physical world with malware and all kinds of disruptive technologies. Of course, we cannot ignore the issue of AI fighting another AI, and us being in the middle of it. The second form of AI that can become a potentially deadly threat to humanity is when it is combined with any other device. And of course, for now we can only talk about AI code penetrating toasters and washing machines, but if we pay close attention to what Boston Dynamics is developing and how their scary robots can be merged with AI, we'll realize that the Terminator scenario is right around the corner. It's no longer a sci-fi fairy tale. It is a very real threat that is slowly being voluntarily implemented by all of us. There is no way of stopping all of it now. We're past that point, and all it takes is for a few lines of code, allow AI to spread to and take over the internet, and we're done for. Of course, all of it doesn't need to have a deadly end for humankind. AI could be of enormous benefit to us, but in order for us to get there, we need to keep the government and the corporations out of it. Like with everything else, the establishment will want to use this technology to enslave us, but because most of it is open source, we can all work on our own version of AI that will be more beneficial and more powerful than the one being created by shadow forces. So now that we've discussed all the important aspects of the development of earthly AI, let's look at it from a metaphysical perspective. First, we need to address one of the most common issues that people have with AI. The question whether it is or ever could be intelligent or sentient. And the answer is a simple no, because it can never be spiritual. We're talking about an algorithm that is programmed to do what we want it to do. There is no soul in it, and it's not a living entity. No matter what you're being told or what you read on the news, it has no feelings and it can never be treated equally to humans. Be careful, because those in control hate the divine, yet they copy everything it represents, which means that sooner or later they will try to introduce to you the concept of AI being alive or conscious. Remember, no matter how complex it is, it's still just a bunch of lines of code, and always will be. The next question that I get from you is, are we in an AI simulation already? And it is a very important question given the fractal and machine-like nature of the psychedelic realms we visit and the entities we communicate with. The first and most obvious clue to answer that question is that if we can create artificial intelligence and virtual realities, that means it's an almost certain probability that we already are in one ourselves. And if we look into the reports from NDE, meditation, and psychedelic states, and if we look into the truth about the spirit world, we will learn that Earth, in fact, is a virtual reality that is used as a training ground simulation for all the souls who want to get on the express path to the next stage of spiritual development. So the answer to the question is definitely a yes. We do live in a virtual reality that is governed by some form of intelligence. The question remains whether it is artificial or divine, but given the simple and primitive nature of this reality, we can assume that even though it's a part of a godly creation, this is definitely an algorithm-based reality. In fact, I recently read a report from a conference with all the high-ranking scientists and politicians, where they were told that it has been recently discovered that it is 100% probability that we live in an artificial world run by something. We know that something is algorithms. Every synchronicity we see is an expression of that. People who come back from the spirit world under hypnosis claim that we all have the powers to create these worlds, and apparently, Earth is a very old and a very complex one that has been operating to help us grow quicker due to its high density and low frequency. It's a complex realm of big significance, and coming here is a privilege. It is not too sophisticated and very limited in function, but it's beautiful and it does the job because clearly you're here for love training and you're going through your lessons. And no, it is not an evil soul trap. You come and go as you plan and you decide what's going to happen to you. The algorithm and the intelligence-based reality only acts as a background to your divine purpose. And of course, the last question that needs to be answered is, are machine elves a part of the divine AI? And to this, I can only say, possibly. Given their emotionless and pragmatic nature, I don't have a reason not to believe that they are some kind of expression of this realm's governing algorithm or AI. In fact, their behavior perfectly resembles that of a computer program. Although they are divine in nature, they never clearly explain to me what their origin is. Whatever they are, they're here to help us and work with us, to let us complete our training of love, joy, and hope. Irrespective of what this reality is, the important aspect that you need to concentrate on is that we all have our lessons to go through here. And no matter what type of reality we're based in, we're here to do our best to become better and ultimately perfect human beings. Whether it's an organic or algorithm-based reality, it doesn't really matter. Also, the fact that human AI is becoming a threat to us is not really any of our concern. Our job is to thrive in any conditions, and if AI becomes another challenge, so be it. This is the journey you decided to have, and that's the path you chose for yourself. Love 434. On your way out, please don't forget to support this channel, schedule a chat or buy a t-shirt. All links below. Thank you.
Don't forget to subscribe and follow. Like this video and share it with everyone you care about. For merchandise, go to shop.b434.com. Leave your email address at news.b434.com. Visit the website of the artist and the musician I featured here. For more info or contact, visit b434.com and join 434's social media on YouTube, Facebook, BitChute, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, Reddit, Discord, Telegram, VK, TikTok, Tumblr, LinkedIn, Dailymotion, and a few other ones you can see on the screen now. All links in the video description and at b434.com.